tight as you can squeeze.
HouseRepairsYourself.com.
Okay, we are here today working on a KitchenAid dishwasher. Now this dishwasher was working fine, but it started making a noise while it was pumping the water around inside, and we figured the bearing might be going out on it. Then all of a sudden, it quit pumping at all. It was just humming and not even turning. We could tell it was a hum, and we're just pretty sure it's a bearing and a motor and a pump motor in here. So we're going to show you how to change out a pump motor and a KitchenAid dishwasher. Now, most dishwashers are similar, so don't feel like that this won't apply to other brands as well, but I just want to tell you up front, this is a KitchenAid. So one of the first things we did is pull this bottom rack out, and now we're going to remove this spin arm. So you take a pair of pliers and twist this, and the KitchenAid's got backwards thread, so you loosen, turn to the left to loosen this thing, to whereas normally you go to the right. You turn this little, or the other way around. I'm sorry about that, I just messed that up, guys. You go to the right to take this off and not to the left. I apologize. We all make mistakes. So we've got that thing off of there. Now the next thing we need to do is get this tube that runs to the upper spray arms, get that tube out of the way. Now what we're going to do is show you how we do that from the back. Now we've got a light in here so you can see on the video better. So we're going to leave that light in there, but you could take this whole top rack out if you wanted to. You can see that there's a little metal clip holding this on to the back. So if I push that to one side and pull this out, that releases that clip. There's another one on top. It's the same way. That you can figure that out. I'm sure we're going to have a hard time showing you that on the video. But so once we've got those two loose, we can pivot this. And look right down here. Show this right down here, Mason. Where we turn this to this direction, and you can see this lifts right out. That's the way it locks in, and it pivots underneath these little catches. So we're going to pivot it out. Take the whole thing out of there, get it out of our way. And this little piece right here, it just sits in there on the KitchenAid. They might be slightly different in other brands, but you can figure that out. Now what we have to work with is these stainless steel screws that hold down this plate. Now those screws on there are what's called Torx head. Can you focus on that, Mason? Can you see that that's not a Phillips, not a flathead? It's called a Torx head. These are available at a hardware store or auto parts store, so it's not hard to get, but you just need to get the right tip for your drill. Once you got the right thing, we'll be able to pull that right out of there. Now this thing just kind of snaps on, kind of like a Tupperware lid on a pan or on a bowl. You might have to get something to pry it up with, like maybe the edge of your pliers or something, but once you get it started, it just snaps on there. Now our whole piece came out, so I'm not even showing you what I talked about, but you see how this just snaps on? Kind of like a lid on a bowl. You can pop that off of there, and you can actually clean this thing if you need to. But ours came out all in one piece, and that's okay too. So now we're down into the guts of it here. You see this rubber seal right here? That seals this bottom unit into the dishwasher pan so it doesn't leak. We're going to drop this whole bottom unit. Well, we're not going to drop it out, I'm sorry. We're going to loosen it up on the bottom, we're going to pull it out the top. But this seal is going to come out, and we're going to be able to service the parts underneath by pulling this out the top. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go underneath the unit. We're going to release some catches underneath there and pull this thing out. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, one of the first things we need to do is release this drain hose off of the assembly that's on the bottom by backing off that clamp. Now there's going to be some water that comes out with it, so I'm going to grab a towel to catch some of that water. We probably won't be able to get it all, but we'll get as much as we can. And then the next thing we got to do is release the plastic clips. These plastic clips slide into a flat spot. We'll show you that later after we pull this out of here. But these hold this unit down into the dishwasher pan. So you've got to get all those out of there. And sometimes it's kind of hard to find them all. But they're on there. Should be one more at least. There's either going to be 3 or 4. All right. Now the next thing is this side pump. This is the drain pump right here. It drains the water out. It will twist and come off of here. That's your drain pump. That's your impeller on the drain pump. This twisted in place, and this is a little release tab for it right here. If you release that, okay, we're coming back up to the top now. We're going to lift this whole assembly out of here. Like we talked about earlier, that rubber gasket seals against the wash tub there. So we're going to get the last of what we're looking for. We got this sensor here. Get out of there, and then there's that little wiring harness we were talking about right there. Okay, that's the last thing. So just to review what we did in reverse order here, we took off the wiring harness, the sensor, the drain motor and impeller, the drain hose, and all the clips that fit in here that locked it in place. You can see how those just slipped in there. Some dishwashers have it to where they turn to the side and then just pull up. A KitchenAid, this model anyway, they just pull straight out of these little square spots on the dishwasher assembly. See? You just kind of pull those out. We're going to put them back in when we replace this. Okay, this is the bottom of this assembly. This is the motor we're talking about, and the impeller is inside there too. I'm going to show you how to take that off. If you look inside of here, I don't know if you can see this on the camera or not, but there's a bolt inside there. And that releases the motor from being locked in place. So if you take a socket, put it on that bolt, and back out that bolt, then we can turn the whole motor and just pop it out of there. Now it's going to, in most cases, it's going to come out with this little shield. You may or may not have it on yours, but if you do, just pull the bolt out with the shield. Now we're going to rotate this. You can see where the bolt was down there. We're going to rotate it and pull it right out of there. So now we have this housing. We've got our pump motor. Got the gasket seal. This is a shield that came out of here, which we can replace. See how that shield kind of fits the shape here? By using our common sense, again, we can tell that that fit just like that. Like I said, yours may be a little different, but it's going to generally follow these principles. Now here, we can see it, our motor is all jammed up. Just like we thought. It was humming and not turning, and that appears to be the problem. This is an assembly that comes all together. The motor, the pump, and the impeller all come together. We have already ordered this product. from one of our favorite places, and that's repairclinic.com. We have a new one here, and we're going to show you how to put that in just a couple minutes.